We're diving into the fascinating world of coin collecting and the incredible value of the 1989 Mint Mark Washington $quarter coins. Now, if you're a collector, enthusiast, or even someone who's just starting to explore the world of rare coins, this video is for you. You might be surprised to learn that a certain 1989 Washington quarter can fetch a price far beyond its face value, potentially reaching up to $1.5 million in today's market. But why is this coin worth so much, and how did it end up becoming so rare? Let's break it down. To start, let's talk a little about the 1989 Washington quarter in general. The Washington quarter has been a staple of U.S. currency since it was first minted in 1932 to honor the first president of the United States, George Washington. The coin has seen a few changes over the years, but by 1989, it had become a familiar piece of everyday currency. The U.S. Mint produced millions of these quarters in 1989, and most of them are still worth just 25 cents, the face value. So what's so special about some 1989 quarters that they can fetch such an astronomical price? It all comes down to a very rare minting error that occurred during the production process. This error is known as the double die obverse variety. Essentially, a double die obverse happens when the die that stamps the coin is improperly aligned, causing the image to be stamped twice in a slightly different position, which leads to doubling in the design elements. For the 1989 Washington quarter, this error made certain coins extraordinarily valuable. The key characteristics of this rare coin are the doubling effect visible on the inscriptions like Liberty and In God We Trust, as well as the date 1989. This double imprint can be seen clearly under magnification, and it's this mistake that makes these coins so highly sought after by collectors. To be clear, not every 1989 Washington quarter is worth a fortune. It's the ones with the noticeable double die error that stand out. These coins are incredibly rare, and that rarity is what drives their price up to millions of dollars in some cases. But how did this error happen? In a coin press, multiple strikes are made with the same die to ensure the image is transferred to the coin properly. Sometimes, due to improper adjustments or technical malfunctions, the die moves slightly, causing the design to be struck more than once. In the case of the 1989 quarter, only a small number of these double die coins made it out of the minting process, making them highly valuable to collectors who specialize in errors. To make matters even more interesting, the 1989 double die obverse Washington quarter became even more famous after a specific example was sold at auction for an astonishing $1.5 million. This sale brought attention to the coin, skyrocketing its popularity among coin collectors and investors. It wasn't just a rare coin, it was a historic event that put the value of these quarters on the map for everyone to see. Now, if you think you might have one of these rare coins in your collection, you'll want to make sure you take a close look. Inspect the lettering and the date for any signs of doubling. If you notice a clear, distinct double image, you could be holding a coin worth a significant amount of money. But remember, finding a 1989 quarter with this error is incredibly rare, so don't get discouraged if you don't immediately find one in your collection. For those of you who are new to coin collecting or might be wondering how to start looking for valuable coins, there are a few key tips to help you along the way. First, get yourself a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe. This will help you spot small details like doubling or other minting errors that are crucial when determining a coin's value. Next, research the coins you own or find. The value of rare coins is determined by their rarity, condition, and demand, so it's important to stay informed about what makes a coin valuable. And remember, even small details like a mint mark can affect a coin's value. Now, let's talk about how you can protect these rare coins if you do happen to find one. To keep a coin in the best possible condition, you should store it in a protective holder, such as a coin flip or capsule, which will prevent it from being scratched or damaged by handling. Avoid touching the coin directly with your fingers, as oils from your skin can tarnish it over time. The market for rare coins, especially minting errors like the 1989p double die obverse Washington quarter, can be highly competitive. Auction houses, dealers, and private collectors are constantly on the lookout for valuable coins to add to their collections. Some of these sales even take place at major coin conventions or online auctions, where buyers and sellers from all over the world can get involved. If you're looking to sell a rare coin, it's important to have it properly authenticated. There are several well-known grading services like PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, or NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, that can verify the authenticity and condition of your coin. Once authenticated, your coin will be more attractive to potential buyers, and you can rest assured that you're getting an accurate price for it. It's also worth mentioning that market prices for rare coins fluctuate over time, depending on demand and other economic factors. So while the 1989p double die obverse Washington quarter may have sold for $1.5 million in the past, the value of these coins can change as more people become interested in collecting them. As with any investment, it's essential to educate yourself and approach the world of coin collecting with a keen eye. There are plenty of resources available to help you along your journey, whether it's joining a local coin club, reading books and articles about numismatics, or following expert collectors online. In conclusion, the 1989p Washington quarter with a double die obverse error is one of the rarest and most valuable coins in the market today. While most 1989 quarters are worth just 25 cents, the ones with this incredible minting error have become the stuff of legend among collectors, with some reaching prices as high as $1.5 million. If you're fortunate enough to find one, it could be a life-changing discovery. But even if you don't, the world of coin collecting is filled with many other opportunities to find treasures. We're diving into an exciting and rare topic, the 1995 D Mint Mark Washington $quarter coin, and its astounding value on the market. You might be surprised to learn that this coin, which many people overlook as just another standard quarter, can fetch as much as $1.1 million in certain conditions. But why is that the case? Let's break it down. First off, it's essential to understand how coin values are determined. The worth of a coin is not just about its face value, what it's stamped with, but also its rarity, demand, and condition. In the case of the 1995 D Washington quarter, there's a specific set of circumstances that make this coin so incredibly valuable. To start, let's talk about the Washington quarter itself. This design was first introduced in 1932, commemorating the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. The obverse shows a profile of Washington, while the reverse depicts an eagle, symbolizing strength and freedom. It's one of the most iconic coins in American history. So why is the 1995 D Mint Mark quarter so special? In 1995, the Denver Mint, which is responsible for striking coins with the D Mint mark, struck millions of Washington quarters. But among those millions, one very specific variety stood out due to a unique error. This error would go on to make the 1995 D Washington quarter extremely rare and highly valuable. Now, let's get into the heart of the matter, the error that made this coin worth over $1 million. It all comes down to a die break that caused the coin to feature a double die. This error happened during the minting process, when the dies used to strike the coin weren't aligned correctly. The result was a noticeable doubling of the numbers and the lettering on the coin. This phenomenon is called doubling, and in the case of the 1995 D quarter, the doubling is quite dramatic, particularly on the date and the word Liberty. Finding one of these coins in circulation is extremely rare. In fact, only a handful of these 1995 D quarters with a double die error are known to exist. That rarity, combined with the high demand from collectors, has propelled the value of these coins into the millions. Let's take a look at some specific examples of these coins in the market. In 2008, a 1995 D Washington quarter with a double die error was sold at auction for an astounding $1.1 million. That's right, one coin, with an original face value of just 25 cents, was sold for over $1 million. This price point makes it one of the most valuable quarters ever sold at auction. So, what does this mean for you, the coin collector or casual observer? If you happen to have a 1995 D quarter lying around, you might want to take a closer look. But remember, not every 1995 D quarter is worth a fortune. The value hinges on the presence of the double die error. If you think you've found one, it's important to get it properly authenticated by a professional coin grading service to determine its true worth. It's also worth mentioning that the 1995 D double die Washington quarter isn't the only coin that has reached such high values. There are plenty of other rare coins with errors or unique characteristics that have fetched incredible prices at auctions, and this is a reminder that numismatics, or coin collecting, can be an incredibly lucrative hobby. If you do have one of these rare coins, here are a few tips on what to do next. First, make sure to store the coin safely. Keep it in a protective holder to prevent any damage that could reduce its value. You'll also want to have it graded by a reputable coin grading service like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS. These services will examine the coin's condition and certify its authenticity, which is crucial for getting the highest price when you decide to sell. As we wrap up this video, let's take a quick recap. The 1995 D Washington quarter with a double die error is incredibly rare, and it's one of the most valuable quarters you can find. If you happen to have one in your collection, you could be sitting on a small fortune worth up to $1.1 million, depending on its condition and authenticity. Remember, while most 1995 D quarters aren't worth much more than their face value, the ones with this error are a true treasure in the world of coin collecting. Thank you for watching. If you found this video interesting, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more exciting content on rare coins and collectibles. And as always, if you have any questions or if you've found a rare coin of your own, feel free to leave a comment below. We're going to dive into an incredibly rare and valuable coin that you might just have sitting in your pocket right now, the 2001 P Mint Mark New York quarter, worth up to an astonishing $1.7 million. Yes, you heard that right. If you haven't heard of this coin, you're in for a real treat. But before we get started, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update on rare and valuable coins like this one. So, what makes the 2001 P Mint Mark New York quarter so special? To understand that, let's first talk a little bit about the 50-state quarters program. The United States Mint launched this program back in 1999, and it ran all the way through 2008. The idea was to release a series of quarters, each featuring a different state design, and the 2001 New York quarter was part of this initiative. This quarter has the traditional design on the obverse, that's the head side, with George Washington's portrait. But it's the reverse, the tail side, that sets the New York quarter apart from all others. The design, featuring the Statue of Liberty, a famous symbol of freedom, and the New York skyline, is absolutely stunning. Now, here's where things get interesting. Most of these quarters, even from 2001, are still pretty common and worth their face value of 25 cents. But here's the catch. There's a rare version of the 2001 New York quarter with a special minting error. This particular coin was mistakenly struck with an incorrect die, which led to some extremely rare characteristics that are now highly sought after by collectors. You might be asking, what's the big deal with this error? Well, these rare 2001 P New York quarters are missing a crucial feature, the mint mark. Normally, quarters have a mint mark that indicates where they were made. For this series, quarters minted at the Philadelphia Mint have a P mint mark. However, a handful of these 2001 quarters were struck without the mint mark. That's right, some of these quarters have no P stamped on them, and that's what makes them incredibly rare. When collectors discovered this error, they realized just how valuable these mintless quarters could be. As the rarity of these coins grew, so did the demand for them, and their value skyrocketed. Today, an uncirculated, error-free 2001 P mint mark New York quarter can be worth up to $1.7 million, depending on its condition and whether it has been authenticated by a trusted grading service. So, what should you do if you think you have one of these rare quarters in your collection? First off, don't jump to conclusions. Not every 2001 New York quarter is worth a fortune. You need to make sure that the coin you have is genuinely an error coin with no mint mark. That means carefully inspecting the reverse side of your quarter to ensure it's missing the P mint mark. If you spot it, you may be holding onto a gold mine. Once you've identified a potential error coin, the next step is to have it professionally graded. A coin's grade is an important factor in determining its value. Coins that are in mint condition, with no visible wear or damage, will fetch the highest prices. A professional grading service will evaluate the coin's condition, verify its authenticity, and provide a grade. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin can be. In fact, the highest grade examples of these error quarters have sold for up to $1.7 million at auction. But even if your coin isn't in perfect condition, it's still worth having it assessed. Coins with some wear, scratches, or discoloration can still be worth thousands of dollars, and there's always the chance that you're sitting on a rare find. Even in less than perfect condition, these error coins can attract serious interest from collectors. Now, let's talk about where you might find these rare 2001 New York quarters. While it's possible to find them in everyday pocket change, the chances are slim. That said, if you're an avid coin collector or just a casual hobbyist, you might come across one at a coin shop, a coin show, or even through online marketplaces like eBay. However, it's crucial to be cautious when buying or selling rare coins online. Always work with reputable dealers and make sure any potential purchase is accompanied by proper documentation and certification. If you found a rare 2001 P mint mark New York quarter, or if you think you've stumbled upon one, it's a good idea to get it authenticated by a professional. Coin grading services like PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, and NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, are trusted in the coin industry and can provide the validation you need. Authentication is especially important because it adds credibility to your coin's value. Before we wrap up, let's talk about the market for these rare quarters. Over the years, the value of the 2001 P New York quarter has continued to rise as more collectors learn about it. Coins with mint errors, like this one, have been known to fetch large amounts at auctions, and the $1.7 million sale of one of these coins is a testament to how valuable they can become. There's always the possibility that the price could increase even more in the future, especially if fewer examples remain in circulation. Now, let's take a moment to reflect on how exciting it is to think that a coin worth only 25 cents could someday be worth a life-changing sum of money. For coin collectors, that's the magic of the hobby. There are endless possibilities, and you never know what treasures you might come across. If you're new to collecting or just starting out, the world of rare coins offers so many opportunities to learn and potentially make some significant finds. Alright, guys, that wraps up our deep dive into the 2001 P mint mark New York quarter and its astonishing value. If you think you've got one of these coins, don't wait. Get it checked out, and you could be sitting on a fortune. Let us know in the comments below if you've ever found a rare coin, or if you're planning to look through your change for this special quarter. We're diving into the fascinating world of rare coins, and specifically, the 1965 Washington $quarter coin. You may have come across one of these coins in your pocket change and wondered, what's the real value of a 1965 quarter? Well, if you're lucky enough to find one with no mint mark, you could be holding a coin worth as much as $1.90 million. Let's break down how a seemingly ordinary coin could fetch such an astronomical price. First, it's important to understand the history of the 1965 Washington quarter. This coin was minted during a period of transition for the U.S. currency system. 1965 was the year that the U.S. government decided to stop using silver in most of its coinage, switching to a copper-nickel clad composition. So, it was a time of significant change for the U.S. Mint, and this sets the stage for something unusual. While most 1965 quarters were made from this copper-nickel clad material, there's a very rare variety that has caught the attention of collectors, investors, and numismatists alike. This is the 1965 quarter with no mint mark. Before we go deeper into the value, let's quickly discuss what mint marks are. A mint mark is a letter found on U.S. coins that indicates where they were produced. For most coins, this will be a letter like D for Denver or S for San Francisco. In 1965, however, quarters produced at the Philadelphia Mint didn't have a mint mark. This lack of a mint mark is what makes the coin so intriguing. You might be asking, what makes these 1965 quarters so valuable? To answer that, we need to talk about rarity. The U.S. Mint generally makes billions of coins each year, but not every year or every type of coin ends up being rare. In the case of the 1965 no mint mark Washington quarters, only a very limited number of them were mistakenly struck on silver planchets, which were left over from the years before the government stopped using silver. These silver-struck 1965 quarters are exceptionally rare because, while they were intended to be made from the new copper-nickel clad composition, some of the leftover silver planchets were used by mistake. The result? A few 1965 Washington quarters that are composed of 90% silver, instead of the usual copper-nickel mix. This composition makes these coins incredibly valuable to collectors, as silver coins are prized for both their historical significance and their intrinsic metal value. Now, let's talk numbers. A typical 1965 quarter with no mint mark, made of the copper-nickel clad composition, is worth about face value, 25 cents. But, as I mentioned earlier, the silver-struck version is worth much, much more. Some of these rare coins have sold for upwards of $1.9 million at auction, depending on their condition, rarity, and provenance. But how can you identify one of these rare 1965 quarters? First, check the weight of the coin. A regular 1965 quarter weighs about 5.67 grams, while a silver 1965 quarter weighs 6.25 grams. So, if you have a quarter that seems a little heavier than normal, you may have stumbled upon a valuable coin. The next step is to check the coin's appearance. A silver quarter will have a shiny, white appearance, while a copper-nickel clad coin has a more yellowish or reddish hue. Additionally, you can use a magnet to check the coin. Silver doesn't stick to magnets, but the copper-nickel clad metal does. If you suspect you have one of these rare silver 1965 quarters, it's crucial to have it professionally graded by a certified numismatist. The grade of the coin, the condition it's in, can significantly affect its value. Coins in excellent condition, with no scratches or other signs of wear, are worth far more than coins that have been heavily circulated. While these silver-struck 1965 quarters are extremely rare, they're not the only valuable quarters out there. Washington quarters from other years, particularly those made before 1965, can also fetch high prices. The key to identifying valuable coins lies in understanding their rarity, condition, and historical context. So, if you find a 1965 quarter in your pocket change, don't just toss it aside. Take a moment to inspect it closely. You may just have discovered one of the rarest and most valuable coins in American history. And if you happen to find one of these rare silver-struck quarters, you could be sitting on a small fortune worth millions of dollars. We're diving into an exciting topic that could turn your pocket change into a small fortune. Yes, we're talking about the 1981 Mint Mark Washington $2 coin, and it's something that could be worth up to a whopping $1.6 million in the market today. Stick around as we explore why this seemingly common coin is commanding such a huge price. Let's start by talking about the Washington $2 in general. The quarter has been a staple of American currency since 1932, honoring George Washington, the first president of the United States. But in the world of coin collecting, not all quarters are created equal. Over the years, certain coins have gained attention for their rarity, mistakes, or unique characteristics. Now, you might be wondering, what makes the 1981 Mint Mark Washington quarter so valuable? It all comes down to a rare error that occurred during the minting process. Before we get into the specifics of the error, let's quickly talk about the minting process. Every year, coins are produced at various U.S. mint facilities across the country. Each mint has its own mark, or letter, that's placed on the coin to identify where it was made. The Mint mark refers to the Philadelphia Mint, one of the oldest and most well-known U.S. mint facilities. Most coins from the Philadelphia Mint bear this mark, but it's the 1981 quarter that's so special. In 1981, there was an issue with the Washington quarters that were struck at the Philadelphia Mint. A small number of these quarters were accidentally struck on planchets, or coin blanks, that weren't properly prepared. These planchets were defective and contained impurities, leading to what collectors now refer to as a striking error. The most important detail here is that these errors were incredibly rare, and not every 1981 quarter had them. In fact, it's estimated that only a small fraction of these coins made it out into circulation. But what exactly is so special about the ones that were minted with this error? Well, these coins are extremely rare because they were struck on a defective planchet, which caused them to have a noticeably irregular strike. Some of the most valuable ones have deep die cracks, weak strikes, or off-center designs that make them stand out from regular quarters. The rarity of these error coins combined with the demand from collectors is what drives the value up. So, how much is a 1981 Mint Mark quarter worth in today's market? Well, depending on the condition and specific error, the value can range dramatically. Most 1981 quarters are worth only a few dollars if they're in good condition. But if you've stumbled upon one with a rare error, you could be sitting on a goldmine. A pristine, well-preserved 1981 quarter with a prominent error could fetch upwards of $1.6 million in the right auction. Now, you might be asking, how do I know if I have one of these rare coins? Well, the first step is to check for any unusual features like die cracks, weak strikes, or off-center designs. These are the key characteristics of an error coin. Keep in mind that not every 1981 quarter will have these features. That's why it's important to have your coin properly examined by a professional coin grader or numismatist. They can assess its value and help you determine if it's worth anything beyond its face value. It's also important to note that condition plays a huge role in a coin's value. Coins that are well preserved, without heavy wear or damage, are more valuable than those that have been worn down or scratched over time. So, if you think you've found a valuable 1981 quarter, make sure to handle it with care. Store it in a protective holder and consider getting it graded to maximize its market potential. But the journey doesn't end there. The world of rare coins is filled with hidden treasures, and discovering an error coin can be a thrilling experience. Many collectors spend years hunting for these valuable pieces, and sometimes, the most unexpected coins turn out to be worth a small fortune. As we wrap up, let's take a moment to recap. The 1981p mint Mark Washington $quarter coin is valuable because of a rare error that occurred during the minting process. Coins struck on defective planchets, which led to off-center designs, die cracks, or weak strikes, are in high demand among collectors. If you happen to come across one of these rare error coins, it could be worth up to $1.6 million, depending on its condition and rarity. Thanks for tuning in to today's video. If you found a rare 1981p quarter or any other valuable coin, be sure to do your research and consult with a professional to determine its true worth. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more fascinating coin stories and tips on how to build your collection.